Imagine this: sailing solo for 8 months or so, nonstop around the world in the Southern Ocean with no GPS, no motor, no satellite, no cell phone, and no boat. Mechanics, no boat mechanics. Tonight we venture into a tale of grit, guts, and timeless seamanship as I welcome a next level guest to the Salty Podcast. She's gearing up for the most epic retro sailing challenge of them all, the 2026 Golden Globe Race. No modern tech, just a sailboat, the unforgiving ocean, and navigation tools Christopher Columbus would have recognized. Her courage, determination, and sheer passion for sailing are enough to make you question why you ever complained about losing Wi Fi. So grab your favorite beverage for this standout chat about her journey, her prep, and what motivates her to tackle one of the toughest sailing races on the planet. But first, here's the deal. Please hit all the buttons, like, share, subscribe, and drop your questions in the live chat so Olivia can respond during the podcast. I'm Captain Tinsley. This is the Salty Podcast, episode 49. Please help me welcome Olivia Wyatt. I messed up on the intro.
The intro was great. What do you mean?
Okay, good. You didn't notice. That's fine with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm in Thailand getting the boat refit for for the race.
Now, when does the race start? It's like September or something?
September 2026.
Okay. Wow. So you're there. That's going to take this. You're going to be there until September?
No, the race starts in Europe. So I've got to get the boat ready and get over there. I have all of the sea miles that I need for the race, but I need to do some under celestial navigation.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the last qualifying thing I need to do. Sailed my boat all the way from California to Thailand. The majority of those miles were sailed solo. So I have about 16,000 nautical miles with the boat I'll be racing on.
Okay.
And I think of 14,000 of those miles were sailed solo.
Wow. Okay. And so, yeah, one of my questions is about the celestial navigation, but why don't we start with why this race? I mean,
okay. I've raced because, racing is a way to sail and meet other sailors, but I'm not really a big racer. So for me, I'm not doing this race for the race. I'm approaching it like a pilgrimage or a vision quest. I like the challenge of it. I'll start off, I heard about the race and then I read more about it and found out that my boat was already perfect for it, that I had the miles that I needed for it, and that you couldn't use modern technology. And that was a big turn on for me, that last bit. And then I started talking to people who had been in the previous race. And I talked to Don McIntyre.
Kirsten?
I talked to Kirsten and I talked to Elliott Smith, and, kind of told them why I was why I was excited about it, why I was nervous about it. And they encouraged me that I should go for it. And as well as Don McIntyre, who founded the race. And then for a month straight, I dreamt that I was in the race. And I'm talking every time I went to sleep and woke up, I was in the race in my sleep. And every time I woke up, I had such an elevated feeling, it was so sublime, that experience in my dreams, that it was an indicator to me that this was the next step I was to take in life. I'm really guided by my dreams. So I try to listen.
I believe in that too. I think, yeah. Well, it's cool that. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say one other thing is that when my first solo crossing was from California to Hawaii, and that was 23 days. And on that crossing, I only had 200 watts of solar. So I was relying on my alternator a lot to charge the batteries. And I lost the use of my engine. And I had to go all systems off, except for once a day I could turn on, I was just relying on the compass. And once a day I would turn on my, my instruments and make sure all was good. But that voyage had had such a bigger impact on me. It was more transformative than any of my other ones, and it was due to the lack of technology. It was due to that deep connection I had to gain with nature to make it to my destination. And but I'll never do that unless I'm forced to. I'll never choose to go all instruments off. So that's what I liked about this race, is that I have to do it without
Right.
instrument. You know
So
that
you were able to turn on because Hawaii is just a little speck in the ocean. So you were able to turn on your engine every once in a while and make sure you're on track with your chart plotter
No, I couldn't turn on the engine. I lost the use of my engine week one
altogether. Okay.
altogether. So I only had, with the 200 watts of solar, I had to, because I left in August, which is, the beginning of hurricane season. So I didn't have a lot of bright sunny days, which is why I couldn't keep the
Okay.
instruments on. I didn't have enough power to run it. So it was like no chart plotter, no fridge, no wind instruments, no speed, nothing.
So
Um,
in this rate, were you able to turn it on every once in a while and make sure you're on
every once
track?
in a while.
Okay. And of course, in this case, it'll be different. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kirsten told me you have a tank full of gas or
But
diesel, but
you
they'll be measuring it to make sure that
you don't use too much. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can only use, is it 15 liters? I'll have to go back and look at the rules. But
Okay.
yeah.
And that's just to charge batteries if you need it, right? Or just to make sure that it's working or something.
Yeah, I don't know when, I don't know when people are choosing to use it. I lost the use of my engine because it's really that I'm a terrible mechanic, that I've lost my engine. But I lost my engine, also the use of it, between French Polynesia and Fiji, and I sailed the whole way, and when there's no wind, drop the sails and wait. And
Well, the good thing is there's not a lot that can break when you don't have all that technology, right?
that's true.
You just have to make sure the rigging's going and are you gonna use what is it? Not the autopilot, but what am I
I
trying to
have a
say?
hydrovane, a wind
That's
vane.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been using a wind vane, so I never use my autopilot.
Nice. So
Um,
you're already familiar with that.
yes, I love the wind vane. It's amazing.
Okay, so, for those that don't know, 2026 Golden Globe race, the history is, which there's lots of good videos on the history and everything, happened in 1968. It was so controversial that they decided not to have it anymore, and they didn't have it until 2018, right? And
Well,
then 2022 or something like
yeah.
that.
Well, it kind of turned into the Vendée Globe, the
Okay.
Golden Globe. Like, that's my understanding, is that it morphed into like the higher technology racing. But
Okay.
Don McIntyre took it back to its original format.
Okay, yeah, because it was very controversial at the time because people in 1968, weren't even sure it could be done. Someone circumnavigate, with the technology of the time, with no assistance, no sleep or very little sleep. But I understand you guys do sleep. I do make smaller crossings and I nap. But
Yeah.
Kirsten says she went downstairs, went down and she went to sleep, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because the sleep thing I'm used to, because I've been sailing, like, it's when you're in shipping lanes and when you're near shore, you have to be more alert.
right,
Um, and I sleep in 20-minute segments, and that wears on you after time. If you're doing that for 2 months, it's really
right,
wears you down, which I had to do that all through Indonesia. And I had a big accident because of it. I had
really.
some poor decision making. Yeah. But but when you're offshore and there's nothing else around you, you just sleep when you're tired, if the
Yeah,
conditions allow.
yeah. So do you sleep in the cockpit or do you go down into the cabin?
Depends. depends. Usually I like to be down in the cabin, but if I'm in shipping lanes or if I'm near shore, I'll generally sleep in the cockpit. Unless it's pretty rough out, then I'll go down.
Okay. So you mentioned you sailed from California to Thailand. How did that go?
Well, so I went first California to Hawaii, Hawaii to French Polynesia,
Okay.
French Polynesia to Fiji, Fiji to Vanuatu, Vanuatu to Solomons, Solomons to Papua New Guinea, Papua New Guinea to Indonesia, Indonesia to Malaysia, Malaysia to Thailand.
Wow. And how long did that take?
Well, I work as I go, or I've been working as I go. And also, I started during COVID or just before COVID. So I had to kind of stop, go back home, work, or, stop, wait for countries to open, things like this.
Okay. Yeah. I knew some other people that they had to wait to go from Hawaii to, was it French Polynesia? They weren't open.
Yes. Yes. I had to wait from Hawaii. But as soon as I saw that it opened, I just went without even emailing anybody in the government. I got there and they were like, "What?"
Oh, really?
But they let
Can that
me
be
in.
done? That can be done?
Well, they let me in the end, but I don't think it was right. The French Polynesia is very, they're very by the book.
Are they?
So I'm
So how did
lucky.
you manage it?
Mm,
Did you have
I don't
any
know.
grease any palms or anything?
No, I just smiled and prayed they didn't put me in jail. No.
So here's a comment for you here. This is from Hayden and Radine. They're in the Caribbean right now. They were on 2 weeks ago, or was it last week? Oops, 2 weeks ago. You're brave, amazing. Learn to tear down your fuel system, put it back together, and get the engine started. A great skill to learn. He knows how to
Yeah.
do all that
So,
stuff.
well, now, I mean, now at this stage, I can do I can fix my engine, but it was,
Wow.
I learned as I went, right? So when I first, I mean, I'll tell you, this is stupid, and I don't think anybody should do it, but when I left for Hawaii, I didn't even really know how to like anchor solo or catch a mooring solo. I mean, everything I'm kind of learning as I go. I'm a little bit reckless in some ways. I think I don't
I
know.
love it. I love it. There's a lot of people
Um,
that never leave the dock, so I think it's great.
yeah.
So, okay. Transition to using traditional navigation tools like a sextant. Um, how
That
much
that
have you done that? Where are you with it?
So I did the celestial navigation through the ASA, um, but that's a thing. If you're not doing it every day, it's just going to go right out your head, right? So I that was the first thing I
Yeah.
asked the other racers, and Kirsten was like, "Don't worry about it. I didn't know how to do it. I took a course after I signed up for the race. Elliot learned how to do it while crossing the Atlantic to go to the start of the race.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so they put me at ease. I've been taking an online course through the Northeast Maritime Institute. They're amazing because they've sponsored me by giving me all the training that is required for the race, like my medical offshore, safety at sea, things like
Nice.
that. Um, and so I've been doing it online, but I am going to take an in-person course as well, just because um, I learn better that way. And then, of course,
Yeah.
I will sail 2,000 nautical miles under celestial before the start of the race.
Is that the requirement?
Um,
2,000?
the requirement is now he upped it to 4,000 solo miles on the boat that you're racing, plus I think another 2,000 miles on the boat, but can have crew. I think, I'm not sure because I wasn't paying attention to the mileage because I already had it.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
do need to sail with Celestial, and so I'm just going to do 2,000. And
Right.
also I'm modifying the boat at the moment, and I need to just make sure everything I've done is pretty solid. So I think 2,000 is a good number anyway.
So you're taking off all your, like your chart plotter and all that, or are you waiting to
Um,
do that?
I am waiting on the instrument, so you can keep things on board, but you have to disconnect it and put it in a sealed box. Like you can have an autopilot on board, but it can't be connected. It has to be sealed so they can check and see, did you use that? Right.
Okay, so it goes in a sealed box, like
Yeah, you seal it, like the cables and everything. You seal it up so they can see if you used it. But
okay.
I mean, I'll probably and he Don recommends, yeah, keep it on there in case there's an emergency and you have to get out of the race and all that.
So Bruce asked a question: does U.S. Power Squadron offer a celestial navigation course?
Oh, I don't know, but let me write that down.
Yeah, good question. I interviewed a guy here on the podcast several months ago, and he's not too far from here. And I plan to take an in-person class too. I just
Yeah.
learn better. Like some people do captain's school and everything. I prefer in person, especially when learning chart plotting and everything. I don't see how people would learn that online.
Well, all the other stuff I did, like for my captain's license, I did it online and then just went in person to do the test taking, and that was
You're
okay.
smart.
But no, no, I mean, you should see like the pile of note cards I make to study. But
Wow.
um, but this was Celestial. The online course is amazing. I just, yeah, I
Do
want
both.
to do, yeah, I want to do it.
Okay. So I think this would be a good time to bring up that you are fundraising for this, and
Yes.
you have a little bit ways to go. So
Quite a way.
I tried to pull up that link that was on your let me go
Did it
ahead and
not
pull
work?
up. It didn't work for me, but
Oh,
I've got all these
no.
protectors on my computer. I think it was my phone though. So this is how you find Olivia. This is on Instagram at Wilderness of Waves. And there is a link there, and hopefully it's working. And it was just
Well,
me.
maybe can you link to my website, wildernessofwaves.com? And if you go to, there's a GGR section, and I've
Okay.
got my, my GoFundMe. People can get a tax break too. I'll be making a film of this voyage.
Right.
So I'm rigging the boat with cameras that can be turned on
So
with the press of a button so I can get all the action from multiple angles. Um, and so through the Arkansas Cinema Society, people can get a tax deduction for their donations.
here we go.
And
Wildernessofwaves.com. So there's a GGR link that you
there's a
can
GGR section. Yeah. In the
okay.
menu, just go to GGR. I think it's GGR 2026. And then
Okay.
I talk about the race. And then if you scroll down, you can see all the links
Okay. So when
for
does
how
this
to
goal
support.
have to be met? I'm trying to help you get some money here.
Yesterday. No, so I'm fundraising as I go. I'm also writing to companies and getting in kind sponsorship donations, which is great, and I'll be able to announce all of those sponsors soon.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, I could use, I'm at a critical stage right now
Okay.
with refitting the boat, and funding is necessary to get to the start line.
Should we mention the amount to give people a sense of urgency?
Um, no, I don't know. I listed on there. I also have my sponsorship deck is on the website through the link, and so you can see, you know, if you contribute, what you can get back. I can put names on the side of the hull. I can put logos on the sails. And the race has a high ROI. So yeah, I have all that information in a sponsorship deck on
Okay.
the site.
Return on investment, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. What kind of boat is Juniper? And what
She's
makes it the right choice for this journey?
she is a 34-foot Toshing Panda with a full keel. She's got a cutter rig. She was designed by Bob Perry's apprentice. So he designed all the other pandas, but his apprentice, Gary Grant, designed the 34-foot panda. So it's very similar to all of, like the Baba. I would say the Baba is the closest sibling to the
Okay, so it's
panda.
a full keel. That's cool. That's what an island packet is. That's what I have.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
love the island packets. Yeah, our boats are very similar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Hayden, who is SB Island Spirit, this guy, he's a boat broker and an island pack. He's on an island packet 35. He might be familiar with that kind of boat. So Hayden, chime in if you are. The guy that's in the Caribbean.
Cool.
So it's a Tashing Panda,
Yes.
34 foot.
And the Tashing is the name of the boatyard where my boat was built.
Okay. All right.
And I'm the
Wow.
third owner.
And what year is it?
85, sorry.
It has to be prior to 88, right?
It has to be
Okay.
designed prior to 86 or 88. Sorry, I can't remember all the things. I just
You
know
already
I
had this
fit the
great
bill.
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bruce Williams says, it's a tank.
Yeah. She is.
Which is okay. And Hayden says it's a great yacht. Thank you,
Yeah.
Hayden. Thank you, Bruce. Keep them coming. We want more questions, more words of encouragement, whatever you want to send us. All right. So Juniper's a 34-foot Tashing Panda with a full keel. And how long have you had this boat?
I bought her 2017 or 18. I can't remember.
Okay.
But
Wow.
I set sail to Hawaii in 2019. But prior to that sail, so, I had to get the boat ready for single-handed sailing and practice. I'd been offshore as crew, but I'd never sailed a cutter rig. So people always ask, how did you prepare to cross the ocean? And I like to share that I took friends with me during small craft advisories, and I went offshore when it was blowing. I went sailing around California when it was blowing in the 30s and saw how the boat, handled, and learned
That's
that
smart.
way. And then the only solo sailing on that boat I had done prior to sailing to Hawaii was I sailed by myself to Catalina Island, which is only like 36 nautical miles. So I'd never been alone at sea at night until I set sail for Hawaii. And
I love this. I love this about you.
but one thing I did do was I did an overnight sail with there's a man who used to design and build boats for America's Cup, and he helped me install some of the systems I needed, and he heard what I was doing, was in San Diego, and kind of helped train me for that crossing. And he went on an overnight sail with me, and he didn't touch anything, but he took notes, and he said, that wasn't safe how you reefed, or you did this wrong. And he never touched anything, but he just made notes and told me how I could do things more effectively and more safely. And then he just kind of set up my boat. What is the Transpac? He looked at the rules of the Transpac, and he set up my boat, like 2 knives in the cockpit, this much water. And we just set up my boat exactly how they would set it up for the Transpac.
Wow.
And so that was a great big blessing. I mean, he just, that was just from the goodness of his heart that he worked with me to prepare me.
Wow, that's very fortunate. Hayden says, "How are you so brave offshore? Does anything scare you?"
All the time. I'm scared all the time. But I think I really lean into my faith. Yeah, I
She's a
lean into
Southern
faith.
gal, everyone. Southern gal, Arkansas.
That's right. Woo, Pixie!
Woohoo! Roll Tide. Roger McClure says, "How do you handle provisioning for 8 months? Do you carry all?" Yeah, you have
Yes,
to. Nobody can give you anything, even when you do your check-ins, right?
that's right. And I've never provisioned for that long. So this will be an interesting thing to do. But I think I'll be eating like an astronaut, just freeze dried. I'll have a lot of
Well,
freeze dried and
Kristen
canned.
Kirsten said that she said in one of, if you ever watched her videos during the race, someone said, have you run out of anything? She said coffee. I was like, oh my gosh.
I
That's
would
one.
freak out.
Oh, that's the worst. I'd rather have coffee than food.
I need coffee, I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah.
and oh no,
No,
that's
you got to
crazy.
make sure you need to talk to Kirsten about provisioning for coffee.
Yeah, like how much
Yeah,
do I need
that's
to
going to
bring?
be a challenge, like the water, the food. You've got good people to talk to, thankfully. And
I'm looking to partner with a company that makes like food for backpackers. That's I've been reaching out to people like that. I think that is kind of the route to go. And I've done a lot of backpacking and things, and those meals are great. So
okay, well, that's a great way to plan because it's all just packaged for you every day. Bruce says, "Do you fish along the way?"
I I brought friends with me from Hawaii to French Polynesia. That was the big sail that I had friends for, and we fished all the time. But when I'm by myself, so I've been a vegetarian since I was 8. Um, Fish was the first thing I cut out. I will eat it now, but I don't fish when I'm by myself. I find yeah, just my body doesn't really crave it. But if it's there and it's
Wow.
fresh caught and a neighbor has it, I'll eat it for sure.
And if you're starving,
Yeah, if I'm starving, I can catch a fish.
okay, so, and you can
Yes,
clean it and all
I can
that,
clean it.
right?
Yeah,
Okay. Hayden says, "Will you have a water maker?
not
Is that
allowed.
allowed? Not
No.
allowed."
I hold 120 gallons of water. So I have 2 tanks, two 60-gallon tanks, one on each side. And I've been collecting rain. I've given myself beaver fever or whatever you want to call it 3 times already through my water system, which is the worst when you're
What?
sailing and you've made yourself sick through your water. But anyway,
What?
so I'm working on a
What?
filtration system. What do they call it when you go to what I there's different words for it. Beaver fever. What's when you go to Mexico? What do they call it?
Oh, Montezora, what revenge
Montezuma's
or
Revenge. Yeah,
Montezuma's.
yeah.
Oh gosh, and so you're cleaning that out, right?
Well, I clean out my tanks regularly, and I also treat them. But you know, maybe it hasn't rained, and maybe if I'm along the way, I've been sometimes like can stop and get water from a village that's collecting rain or things like that. I don't know what's happening, but now I'm making a proper filtration system because I will have
Okay.
to collect water as I go.
Okay, yeah. So you'll have your 120 gallons plus you'll be collecting rain and probably
Mm,
have some bottled water too.
yes.
And Roger says Hayden is married to Radine. I did a video with her. Radine can give her provisioning tips, but the problem is I think Radine, I think they eat meat. So, but they came on and did a video about provisioning for the Bahamas because it's
Oh,
very
cool.
difficult. Like there's not a lot of like if you want your food when you're going to the Bahamas, you spend 3 months in the Bahamas. You need to take most of what you're gonna
Oh,
have because
really?
it's very difficult there. Yeah, there's not a lot of choices and everything.
And
But
are people growing the food down there in the Bahamas, like fruits and you can't get
yeah,
local produce?
I'm sure that you can with that. But well, I think the main thing is like meats or if you have specific needs, you know how when in America we have like I want my toothpaste to be this and my shampoo to be that or all the food and all the certain
Yeah,
things. So it's best when you're going there to take the things that you like because you're probably not going to find them there,
that makes
you know.
sense.
And but yeah, I'm sure Radine would make herself available. I'm
Okay.
volunteering you, Radine. So yeah, I think she's
Rating.
probably listening. She's right now. I
Yay.
think they're in St. Martin right now,
Oh,
and
I love St. Martin.
they've come on here like 4 times, and they're very experts. They're experts in the Caribbean, so they offer great tips. So when it's time to go to the Caribbean, you can talk to them.
Okay,
Okay, and
perfect.
Hayden says, look into Life Straw personal
Yes.
drinking filter.
Yes, I have one of those. But
See,
the
they
the
know
life
everything.
Do the life straws desalinate though?
Oh, that's
I
a good
don't.
question. Is that allowed?
You
No.
can have it like I can have a solar distill. Is that
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Um,
I don't know. Hayden, answer. Can you answer that question? Does it desalinate? Personal drinking filter. Um. Uh.
bring dried fruit. Yeah.
Okay. He says no. 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 No.
Yeah, see? So, but that'll
Uh.
help me from, getting sick from all the
Right.
stuff in my tank.
And he said Rating can help. That's his wife.
Yay!
Yeah. I'll give you their information.
This
Oh,
is fun with people.
bring dried fruit. You're meeting new friends here. Uh, can you have a freezer fridge?
Yes, I can have a fridge. I don't
Yeah,
have a
that's
freezer. I've been living without a freezer, but I can have a fridge.
okay. Let's see. All right. So these are all good. Oh, here's more. Bring homemade banana bread.
Yum. Will you make me some?
Roger, do you hear that? Oh, Bruce. Bruce. So okay. These are great questions. Keep them coming, you guys. So I'm going to go to my list here and see what we have here. Uh, Physical. How are you training? Are you training? You're young. Can I tell your age?
Yes. I but
42.
yes, I'm
Wait,
42.
mine starts with a 5, so please. um, how are you doing anything physical? Get trained to be training
I
nonstop.
mean,
Unique routines or strategies. You probably have some ideas what you're going to do while you're gone, while you're on the
well,
journey.
I need to train for like some I mean, I've had some heavy weather, but not anything like what I'm probably going to see out there. And Kirsten and I spoke recently about her working with me, training me for like towing warps and things like that, and some of the new sails that I'll be using.
Oh,
So
that's
hopefully
great.
that works out. We just have to kind of see about our timing aligning. Um,
Yeah, she is. Where is she again? She's
well, she was doing a
off the
delivery
coast of.
last. She
Okay.
was doing a delivery last time I checked, or last time we spoke. She was like, "Oh, yeah, I haven't, but I haven't." Oh yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay. Bruce wanted to chime in. It's easy 6 ingredients for the homemade banana bread. Uh, and Hayden's asking about the route. So I could pull something up, but
yeah.
you
Pull up the map so it's easier. People get
okay.
the visual.
All right. Let me find
Do
that.
you want me to send it to you, or just look up?
I actually have it. I took a screenshot of it. Let's see if I can. Okay, first
Just Google GGR 2026 map.
yeah, it's not going to let me go right to my file where I have it. Okay, yeah, let me do that. GGR map,
Is there a
GGR
way to?
route.
Yeah, is there?
Yeah, yes, I can share screen it. Here it is. All right, so basically, it's from France, right?
Mm-hmm. Starts in France.
You start in France. First one was in England. Here we go. Okay, so you start up here.
Mm-hmm.
You go down, you hang a left, you go around the world, and you come down here and take another left at Cape Horn and go back up. And there's 3 or 4 checkpoints.
Well, they've reduced the media drop points.
Okay.
Um, so I think there's two
There's
now.
one in Spain, right? It was like quick.
I think they dropped that one, but I'm not sure.
That's
I have
good.
to check because they updated the notice of race recently.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been so thick in the refit that I haven't looked at the modifications.
I think that one was like a couple of weeks or something. And I think Kirsten was like she didn't want to be bothered. It's like, let's get on with it. It was like too soon.
Yeah.
But anyway, then there's another one somewhere over. Is it here? Anyway.
There, it shows you on there. Hold on, let me see. But they've changed it. So the rules of the race got modified, and they've removed some media drop points for safety. So I have to look at the new notice of race.
Okay, so this may not even be up to date right here.
Yeah,
well,
where
it
it's
doesn't really
showing.
tell. Doesn't really tell where, but in Kirsten's videos, the I guess the media boat is what you call it, pulls up,
Uh-huh.
and she's offshore, so they'll come up and ask her questions, and I guess take the footage or something.
Well, you pull into a port, and then you go alongside and hand off. I mean, that's my understanding.
Yeah, you're never
Yeah.
actually touching like a dock or anything.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So
You can
Hayden has.
anchor. You can anchor and
Oh, you can.
rest. Yeah. You have to stop for at least, I think, 6 hours.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Is that leg into the wind, Cape Town? I think you're going with the wind.
And yeah, we are. The wind, we're always going to be, well, it depends. There's a
Yeah.
system. I mean, sometimes the wind will clock.
Okay. But
You can get
as a
headed.
rule, that's the route. I mean, because
Yeah.
I typically the
The
wind goes
trades
that
go
direction.
with you that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's doldrums up here. Kirsten was not
Yes.
happy with the doldrums. They're up somewhere up here, right? What, by the
Yeah.
equator?
Yeah, the horse latitudes, they call it, 'cause people used to have to throw their horses overboard to reduce weight.
Yeah. So down here in the Southern Ocean is a beast.
Yeah, did
It's
you
like,
watch the movie, The Weekend Sailor, the
I don't know.
documentary? It's a
I don't
documentary
know.
about a team from Mexico, and they had never raced before, and they ended up um, winning the first, I think it was the first Whitbread. But it's an amazing documentary. And all the guys on the ship, they're like, I never want to see that again. They just talk about how intense it was sailing there. That's an amazing documentary if y'all haven't seen it.
So they don't want to do it again.
No.
No, what's the guy? The Robin? No, who was the guy that kept
Knox
going in
Johnson. Oh, that was
Robert Knox Johnson is the one that won in 1960. There was a guy
yeah.
that kept going.
Yeah, Bernard Moitessier.
Yeah. Yeah. He came around Cape Horn, went north into the Atlantic and said, you know what? I don't want to go back. And he left his family and everything, and he kept going around, and he stopped. He didn't go all the way around. He stopped somewhere, and I can't remember where, but
French Polynesia.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, he went and like set up life in Ahe, which is in the Tuamotus, of French Polynesian. I went there actually, and was moored at a pearl farm there, and there's a French sailor there who kind of convinced Moitessier to move to Ahe.
And then he started another family.
Yeah, I don't know about the personal side of his life, but
yeah, it was a little bit controversial. But I think he just had been at sea for something. Like the first race took 300 and something days, and when Kirsten did it was like 233 days or something. So I guess the modern boats were a little faster. I guess that time at sea, he just wasn't ready to go back to the big charade of coming back to all those people, which I hear is challenging. Now, Kirsten said that it was exciting to her because everybody's like cheering for her and everything.
I asked about that. That was my biggest concern, is like, is because I had a really hard time adjusting after when I sailed to Hawaii, after I sailed to Hawaii, and people, I mean, noises, like just all, like I heard, I was eating lunch with my mom like day 2 after arriving, and siren went by, and I ducked under the table. Like, I mean, things were so startling to me, and I haven't really had that since, but maybe that's because that like I said, that voyage, I was it was just me and nature. I mean, without any instruments. And then I had a really hard time being around people. And so I asked Kirsten and Elliot, that was one of the first questions I asked, like, did you have a hard time adjusting back to life on land? Yeah, I'm worried a bit about me in that regard.
What did they say?
They said they were fine, but they didn't have any issues.
Yeah, so all the stimulation, I've heard that from others. They almost didn't want to go. They be pulling up where they have to come in, and they see all the people. And
It's
it's
like
like, whoa,
sensory
whoa.
overload. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, so what have we created on it? You know, you're just like, yeah, I don't know. The
So how
sensory
long did it
overload.
take you to acclimate?
A while, even when because got to Hawaii and I was there for about a month, and then I had to go straight back into work. And I was at the time I was the field producer on a show on NBC starring Melissa McCarthy, and everyone, my coworkers, just said it was on. They said it like, I don't know how they described it, but they said I was different, kind of like I'd been in a cage or something. Like I was real jumpy and
You're kind of feral.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
They noticed a big difference.
And you've sailed with Tanya. I never know how to say her last name.
Abby is how I say
Is it
it.
Abby?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
Tanya Abby. I
I
love
thought it was Abby, and then
Tanya.
someone else told me it was Ebby. But and for
Well,
those who don't know who she is, she was the youngest solo in the 80s prior to all this GPS and everything. And I had her on recently, which was
yeah.
an honor. And what did you, I read her book, and I was fascinated by the being in the moment thing that she talks about. Like if you're
Mm.
stirring your soup, you are just right there because you have no distractions. And I can't imagine. I want to experience that in my life. You're going to experience that. And
Yeah, I've already been experiencing it, but this is going to be like that, you know, a
on
bigger
steroids.
magnitude. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just can't imagine. There's, in this day and age, it's hard to know what that's like. No
Mm.
distractions. Okay, so Hayden wants to know how you manage your beautiful website. It is really good.
Oh, thank you. Um, I don't know. So I'm a creator you know, I studied still photography and then moved into filmmaking, and I just built that with WordPress. And
Okay.
then there's some little things that you know, some adjustments I wanted to make that I couldn't do that required, you know, some expert coding. And I have a team in India that I work with that's amazing. And so I can just say, hey, can you modify this? And I can share their contact if anybody would like it. Feel free to email me.
That's so smart. I know people that do that get them to do all kinds of things for them, like even the clips or anything. I do all mine on myself, but it'd be nice just to hand it over and just make it happen. So if you've got, I would like that
Yes.
information.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're called Leading Edge Technology, but I mean, I can send you the WhatsApp, and I found them on one of the, you know, work share websites. I can't remember which one, but you know, where you can go online and look, like Fiverr, one of those type sites.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you say leading edge?
Leading Edge Technology. But if I'll send you their. Do you have
Okay.
WhatsApp? Because I can send you their WhatsApp contact. Yeah.
I do have WhatsApp, but I used it when I was in Mexico, and I kept getting all this spam stuff, so I deleted it. So, but I can, but you can email it to me.
Yeah.
And okay. Now Bruce says Contessa 26. So I'm not sure why he was.
Yes, that's the boat that Tanya Abbey sailed around the
Oh
world.
yeah, that's right. That's right. It was a 26 foot. That's right. Thanks, Bruce. He is on top of it there. We have some good sailors on here. All right. So, all right. Physical demands. Are you doing yoga? What are you doing? What kind of training
No,
are you
I'm not.
doing?
No, I mean, I haven't. I don't know, because I've been sailing solo, so I feel like there's not any special or extra thing that
You're
I've
good.
added to my mixture. You know, I I don't need to do any sleep training. I already know how to do it. You know, my body is already ready for that. Physically, right now, I, this refit. I'm already in month 2 of it, and
You're doing a lot of the work yourself.
I'm doing well. I cannot do all the work myself. I'm doing some work myself, and but I have a team of people that I'm working with here as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So one of
I've
my
been
questions.
posting. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. One of my questions, because it's I think those some of those videos are on your website
I've been
and
I've been posting on
Instagram.
Instagram stories like every day what we're doing in the refit, and you can see what I'm doing, what the team is doing. Cause like I'm not a carpenter, so I hired a whole carpentry team. We had to take off my cap rail and redo my deck to hole joint because I had quite a bit of leaking.
Okay.
And I'd already removed the teak deck, so I knew that wasn't the issue. And I spoke to Bob Perry, and he said, if that's not your issue, it's the deck to hole joint. So, you know, we took off the cap rail, had to rebuild the cap rail. Some people had, you know, one person in the last race had an issue with their bowsprit. So I had a new bowsprit made because mine is 40 years old, teak. And we took it off and inspected it. And, you know, it was decided by the team it needs to be rebuilt. You know, so all of the carpentry, and then I've been working with them like together. We're doing the fiberglass and yeah, it's just I'm almost finished with all the exterior work. And now I'm
Well,
about to get into,
so they said they have problems with the bowsprit. What kind of problems did they have?
well, I think I can't remember Elliot's bowsprit broke or something happened, and he had to use like chains to try to keep it on. And you can have, yeah, that's a major point on the boat that you don't want to
No.
lose offshore.
That was
So
smart.
yeah, and so I'm getting all new, like right now I'm having new whisker stays and a new bob stay or dolphin striker, whatever you want to call it, made. And the new bowsprit just went on yesterday. Yeah, I've done a lot of the turtle hatch that's the piece of wood that goes over my companionway door. I had to
Mhm.
redo that. I mean, I kept the original wood, but um, all of the wood underneath was totally rotten. Like the core was all rotten. So
Wow, that's good. It's a good thing you caught all that. So
yeah,
make it
yeah.
much less stressful.
Well, the thing I knew my boat's weaknesses. I mean, I'm essentially like rebuilding her and making her beefier, um, and ready for this new adventure. But I knew where she had faults. Luckily, because I've sailed her so far already, and she's always some of these leaks she's always had.
Right. Okay. So part of that question about the physical thing also, have you thought about what's going to keep you busy after? I mean, I think Kirsten said she would check the boat over every day, you know, look at everything, go up the mast. And there was a couple of tasks she had every day. Then she had to occupy her mind and just her time. Have you thought about
Yeah,
that?
so when I'm offshore already, what I do a lot of writing. So I write every day that I'm at sea, and my blog is, you know, every day that I'm at sea, I'm writing. So I always spend a lot of time writing, and I spend a lot of time reading, um, and yeah, it's pretty. I'm thinking about, you know, I like to collage, so I'll probably bring a lot of materials for collaging and yeah,
Okay. Well,
things
you
like
got it
that.
figured out. Now, can you do like audiobooks or anything? Is that allowed?
Yeah, you can have a cassette player.
Oh, cassette player.
Yeah, but okay, I think Kirsten was learning a new language out there.
Oh
Um,
my God.
I don't. I started to listen to things more recently. It wasn't until my trip to Fiji that I listened to music, but prior to that, I would go without any sound, just the natural sound of the ocean and a book.
You're ready.
But
You're ready.
no, but that, that's 20, the longest I've been at sea alone thus far is 23 days at, 23-day chunks. So this is, wow, this is going to be, I've only experienced a tenth of that. So of what I'm about to do.
Well,
Right.
speaking of, right. How long do you think this will take you?
I think in the 10-month range. Yeah. I don't know. How can I know? How can I know what? I never know how long anything's going to take me, right? It's like, it should have taken me 14 days to get to Fiji, but I had 7 days without wind where I was just, or 6 days without wind where I was just bobbing, So
Well, I think
I don't
Kirsten
know.
did it in 233 days.
Yeah, isn't that 10 months? Wait.
Is that 8 months?
It could take up to 10. Yeah, I think it can take up to 10 months. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. 233 is 7.6.
Yeah. Yeah. And Knox, Robert Johnson. What is his full name again?
Robert Knox Johnston.
That's it. Robert Knox
Robin.
Johnston.
No, Robin. Wait. Now you're confusing me. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm
isn't
sorry
it
about
Robin?
that.
Yeah, Robin Knox Johnston.
Yes. So Robin, right. Back then it was 300 something days. I can't remember off the top of my head. So, like I said, I think the newer boats make a difference. So Hayden is giving you some good, some compliments here on your website, your blog, your photos. Everything looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
He manages the website and the Facebook page for the Island Packet yacht owners.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
So he's
I
been
love
doing that for years.
I love
So
Island Packets. Y'all
yeah, I'm
got
kind of
good
partial
boats.
to it. I'm kind of partial to it myself. Okay, let's see what else we got here. What's been the most challenging part of getting ready for the race so far? Mental, physical, or logistical?
Mentally, it's tough because I have to raise this money to get to the start, and sometimes it's just like I want to break down. I'm also, imagine I'm doing a refit. I'm by myself in a foreign country using Google Translate a lot, like, you know, and there's so many resources here and so much skill here, but yeah, I'm alone doing a refit in a foreign country with not enough money to do the refit. So that is hard. That
Yeah.
is really hard to, why am I doing this to myself? What, I could be on a tropical beach right now, just enjoying my life, right? It's like, why, sometimes you question, sometimes you doubt, sometimes you start to fix one thing and you find other things broken and you didn't account for that. And it's taking more time than you thought, yeah, it's hard. It's very
Yeah.
hard. And I sometimes break down and sometimes have doubts, but then I'll pray and I check in. Am I to continue doing this? And then something will happen to show me, yes, keep going, keep going. This is the path. So I'm just following it. I'm trusting it.
Yeah. You're a person of faith, and so am I. We just keep moving forward until if there's a big block in the way, then maybe it wasn't meant to be. But if it keeps going, which it sounds like it is,
Yeah.
then it'll be. If it's meant to be, you're going to do it.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
seems.
I'm ready to do it. I'm every day I'm going towards doing it. So yeah.
Well, good. Well, we're gonna come back here, like you said. We were talking before we went online. We're not done yet, but we're gonna come back and help and try to help you raise some more funds. I'll beg for you.
Should we have a
Please give.
talent show? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Should I
Do a little
a
jig, do a little
telethon
dancing.
style?
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Okay. Oh, so staying basically the answer to that was staying motivated and not being discouraged.
Hmm.
It's a huge life lesson. What excites you about embracing such the traditional tech-free approach to sailing?
I mean, I guess kind of, well, okay, I referenced it a little bit earlier about what happened on my first crossing, and um, as a filmmaker, I'm an ethnographic filmmaker. I focus on communities that kind of are on the brink of extinction. I think a lot of knowledge is being lost. There is so much wisdom among communities who live symbiotically with nature. You know, I first witnessed this. I was living in the Amazon one summer, and it's like they know which ant, you know, there's one tree that the ants eat and it secretes something similar to novocaine on the interior of the plant. And it's like all this wisdom that it would take, you know, modern scientists a long time to gain on that knowledge on their own, right? And this is just innately they have it. And then I heard about, actually in Thailand, what my third film was in Thailand, I'd heard about a nomadic seafaring community that all survived the Indian Ocean tsunami, which if you remember, that took everybody by surprise. Nobody knew it was coming. They all knew it was coming.
Oh my
I went
God.
back 10 years after the tsunami and lived in the community. I went to 13 different islands. I interviewed all the elders. I documented their way of life. And each island I went to, they had a different way of knowing, but pretty much their ancestors had told them, if you see deep sea creatures coming closer to shore, it means a man-eating wave is coming. If you dream that the sea is turning all red and boats are sinking, it means the man-eating wave is coming. You know, so they had everywhere I went, they had their own way of knowing, but they all knew it was coming either through dreams or observations of nature. And they had enough time the day that it came to go and rescue tourists on neighboring islands. And every single one of the Mohicans survived, except for one man who was handicapped and nobody could get him to safety. And what their ancestors taught them was if you're at sea and you know the wave is coming, you go to deeper sea. If you're on land and you know the wave is coming, you go to higher land. So you know, this type of knowledge is getting lost because
Yeah.
in modern society we are separating ourselves more and more from nature.
Right.
And after I made that film, I decided, I had already loved sailing, but I decided to make the sea my home. After I made that film, I bought my boat. After I made that film, you know, it was 2 years later, I crossed the ocean, and I've been going ever since. And I'm always on a path personally to just keep my connection to nature as solid as I can.
Now, what is this film?
It's called Sailing a Sinking Sea. And it's out on documentary educational resources. So it's taught in universities through them.
Wow.
And it's also on Drag City, which is a record label out of Chicago. So we did like a vinyl LP of the music I recorded, plus music that I had, like a soundtrack that I had made by the band Bitch and Baja. So it's like a vinyl LP with the DVD we did. And
Is
yeah,
it on
it's
YouTube or anything?
no, I had it on YouTube briefly as part of a fundraiser, but no, it screened at the Smithsonian and
Oh
premiered at
my
South by
gosh.
Southwest. So it did, you know, people, it was cool to see that much excitement about this way of life.
Could you put it on YouTube?
I cannot because through the it's on Vimeo. You can buy Vimeo on demand, and
Okay.
I put it on YouTube briefly. Like I said, I had to get permission from my distributors, and I just put it on there very, very briefly to kind of raise money and
Right.
awareness about the race. Kind of like, this is what got me excited about the sea type thing.
Wow. Okay. Um, family and friends. What do they think
What
about all this?
when um I think they've learned that I always do things that scare them. You know, I mean, I come from Arkansas. When I first, I didn't tell, when I first decided to cross the ocean, I decided a month and a half before I actually crossed it. I
Hawaii.
sent my parents an email, and my mom didn't speak to me. She was really upset with me for weeks. My dad would speak to me, and I said, "Oh, I was surprised how well he was handling my decision." And he just said, "Because I know you, and I know you're gonna." Sorry, I'm crying because he passed away.
Oh, your dad? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. But to have his support, he made a deal with God that he'd never go back to sea again. He got caught in a big storm while deep sea fishing, and so to have
Oh,
his support was really amazing.
wow.
But he just said, "I know you. I know you're smart. I know you know what you're doing, and you wouldn't go out there if you hadn't properly trained yourself to do it." So, yeah. Sorry,
Is
I
your
didn't
mom
realize.
That's okay. Wait, is your mom still
Oh,
with
my
us?
mom. Yeah, my
Yeah, she
mom. So she's funny. So she finally spoke to me, and now and now she loves it, and
Oh, good.
I think because of the blog, like, a lot of people from our hometown read the blog, and one time the mailman knocked on the door and was like, "Is your daughter the one crossing the ocean?" And she'll go to the grocery store, and so she gets, like, a
She's
lot of
proud.
she's proud. She gets a lot of conversation out of it. And I remember I was about to do a crossing or when I was about to sail to Fiji. I was a bit nervous for it, and I called home, and I was really scared. And she was like, "Oh, you'll be fine. You've done this
Oh.
before."
I scared my mom too, and she's passed away since, but she was having a lot of chemo at the time, and I think that was why. I scared her to death because I lost power, and that was when I was pretty green, and I wasn't checking the batteries, and I lost all my instruments. But she was mad at me when I finally made it to shore, and I reminded her she was a pilot, and I
Whoa.
said, when she was a private pilot back in the day
Whoa.
when she was married to my dad, and I said, "Well, did grandmother ever get scared when you were flying?" And that she she calmed down at that point. She goes, "Yeah."
That's so cool. She was a pilot.
Yeah, so it comes naturally to do weird things like this that other women don't necessarily do by themselves. Because
Yeah.
I like to solo too. Nothing like you. I haven't been to made long crossings like you, but it scared her, and I think that's normal. But now that we have InReach and everything, but you won't. Will your family be able to track you? I know that the
Yes.
people
We
with
have
the race can track you.
we have the yellow brick, so people can track us. Yeah,
Okay,
our family can. And
okay. You
we
just
do
can't know where you are, right? Without
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And we do monthly or weekly check-ins, like podcasts with the race with Dawn.
Oh, wow.
So they have a podcast going while we're out there. We have a
Oh,
satellite phone, and we can only use it to communicate with the race committee.
okay. So you'll be calling in. It'll just be audio.
Mhm,
Oh, cool.
exactly.
Okay. Did they do that with Kirsten?
Yeah,
Was that new?
they're
Oh,
all
wow.
online. Yeah, you can go online and listen.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm.
Okay, so your mom's, still happy about you? She's
Um,
proud. Well,
she
I'm sure she gets feedback all the time.
she just I think she just said she's trying not to think about it.
Yeah, yeah. So Hayden says, "Will Yellow Brick report to the web?"
Yes. I think so. Yes. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna have us out there
We're
for all to see.
95% sure that yes. Well, so what about your friends and the rest of your family, or do you have any brothers and
Well,
sisters?
yes, I have, 2 sisters and a brother, and my younger sister is my race manager. She doesn't know
Wow.
anything about sailing, but she's highly organized. She's,
Yeah.
manages, for work, she's she's amazing. I don't even know how she does what she does, but she's way more organized than I am. And
She's
so,
handling the business side of everything,
yes,
making your paperwork and
and
appointments or making
calendars and
calls. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, great. You got to make this deadline for this, like your
yes,
celestial navigation.
yeah,
Well, that's good. It's good to have a family member doing all that, someone you trust that's
yeah,
looking out for you.
yeah.
You trust
It's
her?
I
What?
trust her. She's like the only person I trust. So
Oh, okay. All right.
no, I
Does she
don't.
do
I
it full
mean,
time?
like with this
With
aspect
this
of me,
right.
you know.
Yeah. It's all pretty important. Is she do it full time or she's working a
No,
job?
she works. I don't know what her title is, but she's like she oversees everything she does. She's overseeing teams of people and making sure
Okay.
everything running smoothly. And she's working with a bank now. She had the idea for an app to help people save money and also um, to keep people organized. I don't fully understand it, but anyway, the bank loved her idea and hired her, and she's now working with them, and they're developing her app. And yeah,
Well, I just got a statement from Instagram. It doesn't appear here, so I have to look at it separately. Rick Halstead 123 said Yellow Brick will have an app for the race.
yeah,
Okay, so is that how will we all be able to track
yes,
her, or is that just
yeah.
family or
Everyone will be able to see that,
okay.
and everyone
Cool.
can hear the podcast that they do.
And that will be through that also the app?
Their podcasts are on their website, I believe, and they're also doing videos. So when we have the media drop points, they're editing videos and putting them on YouTube.
Oh,
I mean, the
wow,
race is
okay.
doing quite a bit of media. Uh,
Right. Okay. Cool. So, okay, so your brother, you said you have forgot how
Brother and two
many you said.
sisters.
Brother and two sisters. Now, did they all do things like this, or you're pretty much the only
No,
one?
none
You're the
of
only
them
one that's
do things
kinda
like
the
this.
adventurous one.
None of them are vegetarians. None of them. I mean, they travel. They like to travel,
Okay,
but
yeah,
not
yeah.
not the way that I don't think any of them travel the way that I travel, you know?
Well, it's interesting because when I asked Kirsten about what I think her parents that, she did that bike trek from
Yes.
Europe to the tip of South Africa, rode a
Yeah.
bike by herself. And it wasn't a race or anything. And she said her parents had more of a problem with that, which I can imagine. You're going through all those countries in North Africa, just riding along by yourself. They were
Yeah.
more worried about that than the sail around the world.
Mm, that's
So
interesting. But she's hasn't she always sailed or did she grow up sailing?
she's never been in a race. That was the first race. That race was the first race. But she's like you. She sailed all around. She delivered boats. I think you said
Yeah.
you deliver boats.
Well,
So
but I didn't grow up sailing. No one in my
right.
family sails. I
Okay.
didn't learn to sail till my 20s. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um, I think because I grew up landlocked. So and like I said, my dad went deep sea fishing like somewhere off of Florida and made a vow never to go to sea again. Right? It was like his one time out there. But so they don't really know the sea. We didn't.
Okay.
Nobody in my family grew up around the sea,
Right.
and so
Okay.
I think when you don't, they would be comfortable with me climbing a mountain or being in the woods. But for them, that because they know that because that's what is
I see
around
your
us.
point. I see your point. Like if she grew up sailing,
She grew up in
they
South
knew that.
Africa,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
They're near
Yeah.
the ocean. They
Right.
know the ocean. It's yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Your dad when you were born in Arkansas, he was making you be landlocked. Sounds
Yeah.
like. All right, let's see what else I have here. Worried about the risk, already asked you that. Crossing the finish line. What's the first thing you'll do? Or the first person you'll call or there's gonna be
I
a
hope
bunch of people talking to.
I hope all the people I would call will be there if I when
Oh,
I
okay.
get to defend it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think my family's planning to come to the start, and then they'll be there when I finish.
Awesome. Awesome. That's perfect. Let's see this question. Personal traditions. Are you going to bring any, what kind of things are you going to bring? Routines. You kind of talked about that to keep you grounded during the race. You talked about reading and blogging.
Oh, grounded. Yeah. The writing grounds me. I do meditations. Like, I think it's really hard to stay grounded at sea. I mean, I don't know. This might not even make sense to anybody, but I don't know how to explain it. I have to actively stay in my body. I have to actively like put root, envision like rooting into the earth. So imagine when you're on the water, it's much harder to do that. Another way to easily do that is go barefoot and touch the earth, hug a tree, like make yourself one with the earth. And I have a heart, I tend to, I don't know, sorry, I sound too maybe airy fairy. I don't know how to explain
No,
it.
I'm
Like,
fascinated by this. Put your feet in the water. I don't know.
well, so I envision, I do a meditation where I envision roots coming out of the bottom of my feet and going down into the earth. But I have to do that pretty actively at sea.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what does that do for you when you do that?
It makes me more embodied, like my spirit more embodied, I guess. I don't know how to.
In the present.
It's not that I'm not in the present. I don't know if it's. I don't. It's so hard to describe it. I think because I think because I'm creative, I can I don't know. This is too difficult maybe to explain.
You're doing great. I'm learning about
I'm
you.
very empathic. I can feel other people's emotions. I can, if I'm next to, like, I can walk into a room of, here's an example. A friend of mine is a couple. One time I walked in the room, I could feel instantly something just happened.
You're
like,
very intuitive.
I'm highly intuitive. Intuitive people they can go out of their body very easily. I don't know why that happens. And yeah, so I have to actively stay grounded. I have to do meditations where I'm bringing myself back into the body.
Okay. My camera just started zooming in, so I was trying to stop that. Okay, it's gonna do
So
it.
I think I think maybe that's too crazy for some people to wrap their head around.
No.
Unless
there's no rules here. We're learning about you. So, last question, because you already answered the one I was about to ask you. If you could give advice to someone considering a solo sailing adventure, what would it be? That's a good question.
Wow, that's a great question. Like only one piece of advice?
Well, it can be more than one.
I don't know, because there's advice for many different parts of it.
How about for someone getting started? Does that help?
For someone getting started, I think with any dream, our fear tends to stop us. Our overthinking can stop us. Our what ifs can stop us, right?
Sure, sure.
I think when you have a dream, you just have to just keep one step at a time, keep going towards it. Don't, like me, like I didn't have my full family support, but it's like you have to trust yourself. You have to believe in yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Like a lot of people get hung up on the financial stuff. Well, it's like, okay, when I first went to Hawaii, I had $10 in my account, but it's like I knew I could, because I'd put all the money into the boat. But then I knew, okay, I'm just going to go to Hawaii. I have all the things I need. I have all the food I need. I'll get to Hawaii and then I'll go back and work. right? You know, it's like, don't get hung up on all of the little things.
What you're talking about is faith.
Yeah, I am talking about faith.
Yeah. And like,
and
if it's
doors,
meant to be, it will happen. You just keep moving forward, not let fear stop you. If
and the
something
doors,
blocks it, then so be it. But if it, you just keep doing one thing at a time, and if it keeps opening up to you, if the doors keep opening up, that to me is faith.
that's right. That's right. And you know, like when I was getting ready for the Hawaii trip, can I do this? I'm having some doubts. I mean, I don't have all the money I need. I'm having doubts, but I'm just trusting. Then that guy I told you about that built Boats for America's Cup, who heard what I was doing and just came out of the woodworks and said, "Can I help you get
Dropped
there?"
in. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
Exactly.
that's the
Like, you
door
couldn't
that's
have
showing
conjured
me.
that up. You couldn't have conjured that up. There's just that gift just dropped out of the
Yeah,
sky, and there it is.
that's
Uh,
God showing me, keep going. This is the
keep
path.
going.
Like, I ran out of budget the other day. And I was like, what am I going to do? I have to halt all of my the refit. But
Yeah.
then that same day,
Some money dropped out of the
the
sky.
money came. And
Yay.
I didn't have the money to sign up for the race. This was really a big sign for me. I did not have the extra money to sign up for the race, because I can't remember how many euros, like somewhere 10,000 euros or something. And then if you want sponsors, another amount equivalent to that on top. So I didn't have the money just to even sign up for the race, but I filled out my application. And
Oh, beautiful.
then I go and look in my bank account, and something had happened where my grandmother had left me a little bit of money in an account in a bank that merged with my bank that I used.
No
And
way.
yes,
No
and
way.
I don't even know how this happened. So I go to my bank account, and there's another new account with the exact amount I needed to sign up for the
Oh,
race.
God.
And I called the bank. I was like, "How did this get here?" And then I figured out about my grandmother had left me that money that I didn't even know about. I mean, that's just like
Wow.
goosebumps, right?
Right.
That's, you are doing this. This is what you are to do. That's the door open.
Right. That door opened up. And my friend Danielle is on Instagram. She says it's your grounding wire. I don't know what she means by that, but
Yes, I'm glad it's hard to explain it, but I'm glad she knows what. It's like
yeah.
leading into.
She's she's a little bit like you. I don't have to just she'll use those kind of terms. Key West John, who I have on the podcast a lot, he lives on his boat in Key West. He says, "You're in the zone. You've inspired me. I'm now going to do the direct 78 nautical miles from Key West to Marco Island," which he's done many times. Tinsley knows I'm a lightweight, and this is not my norm. Meaning, he doesn't like heavy weather. He's been sailing his whole life, so he knows everything. Okay, so don't get it twisted. But yeah, you are an inspiration. So that is very true. And Goose, who comes on here once in a while, there's no substitute for experience. Yeah, but there's also a little bit of just got some moxie, and I'm going to go and do it. That's you. But okay, so is there anything else that you want to cover? We want to talk about that website again. She needs some money.
Oh,
Money, wildernessofwaves.com.
thank you. No, this has been great, and I hope we can do it again. I was thinking it'd be fun
Definitely.
if we go live, like on YouTube or something, through my channel too. And
Absolutely. We can do that. I think we can do up to 3 of your accounts. So
okay,
you
let's
can
do
choose.
it.
We'll set it up ahead of time, and you just have to do a free account, and we'll go live on my
Okay.
5 and your 2 or 3, whatever's allowed.
Okay,
So,
I love
yeah.
it.
And Hayden says, cool stories. Thank you. What time is it where you are? It's 9:20 Caribbean.
It's 8:20 here.
It's in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's in Thailand. So, well, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so glad I was just ran into you on Instagram. I was like, oh, she's cool. She's doing the GGR. Definitely gotta. And you responded, and you were very kind. And agreed to do it. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me and thinking of me.
Yes, and we're gonna
appreciate
do it
it.
again. We'll do some more fundraising. Well, we'll get an
Yeah.
update on the refit and just everything that's going on. And again, the race starts September.
2026. So yeah.
That's right, 2026. Oh, you got a while. Okay, good.
No,
All
but
right.
you think it's a while, but time flies, you know?
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah, I have a lot in my head to do.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to
Thank
do this
you.
again. And I like to end by saying, Salty Abandon out.